Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Greg, and this is Homeward Bound RV.
Today we are going to talk about Thousand Trails. The good, the bad, the everything.
You know, when we got on the road, actually when we sold the house and we got the RV, you know, you have to think about where you're going to be. And the first couple months we were stationary at a park outside of Dallas. But we knew we wanted to travel. And traveling can be super, super expensive. And there's a lot of considerations you have to take into account, right? We thought about a lot of different things.
We knew that for our size rig, state parks and things like that are just not going to be something that we can do very often. There are some. We have actually stayed at some. We love it.
And we hope to do some more in the future.
Absolutely.
Like
we
in Florida.
We love state parks. And even national parks. Hoping to do that as well. Who knows? We're fairly large. We're 40 feet 3 inches. And that's without the 40 feet 5 inches. And that's without the bicycle rack on the back as well.
Which is pretty big. It's a 4-bike bicycle rack.
So we knew that we had to do something other than that. We could do stationary for a while, which we tried for a few months and we liked, but I could feel the itch to get out traveling. And I more than anyone in the family love this lifestyle, so.
And I have to say, like, the spot that we had, it's at a place in Caddo Mills, and the spot that we had was a great spot. We had a really good view, we had decent neighbors, and I think being stationary can be tough, being in an RV park, and if you're like right up close to somebody, and I think at first the spot we had, like, that would have been really hard long term.
Yeah, possibly, maybe.
But the one that we ended up with was really nice.
Yes. But we have loved Thousand Trails since making the decision. And we knew that it was going to be worth it for us because we were going to be full-timing for 2 years. That was our plan. Initially it was only a year and we weren't going to do it. But then once we decided we were going to stay in the RV for 2 years, Thousand Trails made sense to us because you just take the big fee and you split it in two, and that's how much you're paying per year, and it's way cheaper than it would have been just KOAs or you know, state parks or local parks, whatever it is. So it made a lot of sense for us.
There are, at the current moment, 4 memberships that you can go purchase straight from Thousand Trails. And there are 2 options. You can do one of these packages straight from Thousand Trails, or you can get a used membership from the used market. For the purposes of this video, we're not going to really get into the used market because the used market contains memberships that are like for the last 50 years. And there's
with different levels of everything. It gets very confusing.
It does, and some of these older memberships, they have limitations in the number of parks that you can book because when they were created, a lot of the parks that exist now were not part of Thousand Trails, so that can be a limiting factor. And yet there are other ones like the Odyssey, which was, you know, the big package a few years ago. That one has benefits that you can't even find today if you buy straight from Thousand Trails. So the only thing I'll say is Kimberly at the membership outlet was great to work with. We did work with her some. We didn't buy from her ultimately, but if you're interested in that sort of thing, there'll be a link in the description below. We'll link a couple of the outlets that you can buy used memberships. No, you can save some money, but there are some limitations. And my main caution to anyone wanting to go that route is just make sure you read your contract, because no matter what the person says, all that matters is what's in that contract. Putting that aside, putting used memberships aside, you have 4 basic memberships that you can buy from Thousand Trails today. The most basic of this is the camping pass. So we're gonna put, I don't know what side it's gonna be on, but we're gonna put an image on the screen that has the 5 different zones. And you have the zone camping pass, which is 14 days in the system. So you can go to a park for 14 days, and then you have to be out for 7 days. And one zone will get you the 1,000 Trails parks within that specific zone. And you have a 60-day booking window. And you can add the Trails collection if you want to. We'll get to Trails collection in a little bit. But that is the camping pass. And we have met quite a few people, actually full-time people, in parks, specifically people who are staying in an area, in a specific area.
Right.
And it definitely can work for some people, but it takes work. And that 60-day window can be tough depending on the park you're trying to get into and the time of year, for sure.
Especially with the increase in full-timers.
Yeah.
Like us.
So that's the basic pass. And with that pass, you know, you can add on other zones. You can add on more zones. It will be more cost to you. And then you have the Trails collection. So the Trails collection is something that exists. It's available for all memberships. It is an add-on for all memberships. And what it is, it's a bunch of parks. And we'll have a map that provide, you know, that kind of shows you where all this stuff is. And you can go to the Thousand Trails site and you can find it, of course. But these are parks that aren't actually, they're Encore parks. And they're not actually Thousand Trails parks.
Now these parks are typically privately owned parks, and Thousand Trails has, purchased or allocated a certain number of parks within that system that are allocated specifically for Thousand Trails collection members. And so these parks are going to be filled mostly with annuals and cash paying customers, and then you're going to have 5 to 15 sites set aside for Thousand Trails collection members.
With the camping pass, it's the most limiting, and the money you pay every year is gone. You don't own anything. The very next year, you're starting over from scratch.
But I believe it's the same amount as your dues anyway. So
yeah, I think it's like $6.15. Yeah.
So it's not. I mean, basically, you're just paying the dues
for one zone.
That everybody pays.
But for one zone.
Right.
And there is no freezing of your dues when you're 62, like the other memberships.
So there are 81,000 Trails parks. And on this map, you can see that those are the parks that are in the dark brown circles. So those are the Thousand Trail parks. And then you have over 110 Trails collection parks, which are campgrounds and resorts that are Encore parks or Trails collection. Those are interchangeable with one another. And also on this map, you can see where there are RPI resorts, where, depending on your level of RPI, preferred gold, RPI resort connections, will depend on how much that costs you. For us and our adventure membership, that's $10 a night at RPI resorts. Once you move beyond the camping pass, then you get into the 3 different memberships that you can purchase straight from Thousand Trails. And those in order of least benefit and least cost to highest benefit and highest cost are Elite Basic, Elite Connections, and the Adventure. Now, all 3 of these are unlimited in terms of the length of stay that you can stay within the system in a year. And they are all 21 days, park to park. They are all unlimited day use, and they all give you discounts on cabins. And they all freeze at 62 years of age for your annual dues. That is where the similarities end. So for the Elite Basic, you've got a 120-day booking window for the 81,000 Trails parks. And for the Elite Connections, you've got a 180-day booking window for the 81,000 Trails parks. And then for the Adventure, you have a 180-day window for the 1,000 Trails parks, the 81. The Trails collection can be added on for $315 a year to any of these. But the big difference here is with the Adventure, because with the Adventure you can purchase the Trails Collection Plus, and this is the only place that you can purchase that. And for the Trails Collection Plus, you are able to treat the over 110 Encore Trails Collection parks across the country. You can treat them the same as you treat the other 81,000 Trails parks. So it's 21 days park to park for those as well, except for High Use, where you can only do the 2 weeks. And another big difference between the Adventure Pass and the other two is, instead of having 2 weeks that you can add on per year for $29 a week onto your 21 days, now you can do 4 on top of the 21 days. You can do 4 different weeks at $29 a week. And then you get 2 High Use weeks at $99 for the week. So that's pretty huge. And then as well with the Adventure now, you can do 2 holidays on the books. Whereas with the Elite Basic and the Elite Connections, you can only have 1 holiday on the books.
But anyway, so the Adventure, yes, it's 21-day stays, park to park, so you don't have to leave the system to get into another park, and you don't have to stay at 1,000 Trails to go back to an Encore. You can go Encore to Encore, 1,000 Trails to Encore, it doesn't matter.
Which has been huge.
It's been incredible, and it will be amazing when we're in Florida in December, because again, there's mostly Encore parks.
And the big one with that as well is the 90-day booking window.
Oh yes, so the booking window. So we actually have 180-day booking window
For 1,000 Trails.
for 1,000 Trails, and we have 90 for the Trails Collection. So that is huge. We have 30 days over the other memberships, and even we're struggling to get bookings sometimes. So it's been a big deal. We were able to book the Keys for
2 weeks right now.
for Greg's birthday, so we're pretty excited about that. He's mostly excited. I just want a beach, so I don't care.
It'll be nice.
So anyway, yeah, those are the packages, and we feel it was the right choice for us. It's not for everyone. I know a lot of people that we've met who are not about to do it. Some of the parks are run down. I mean, they are, and they don't feel that they should be paying this premium price for that, or maybe the internet's not that great. But we've found some workarounds. Our internet system is pretty good, considering we're literally a traveling house.
And we're in the middle of nowhere,
we
like right now.
Stay in the woods, you know, a lot of the time. And as far as parks being run down, you know, I feel like you're gonna get that all over the place. And I'm okay with it. It's not my home. It's my home for the moment, but it's not, you know, a forever thing. So I don't know. And then there's other parks that you go to, and it's like, wow, I live here right now, you know, and it's just super incredible to be on the ocean in Maine, or just go to the Jellystone parks, things like that. The kids loved it. I mean,
Absolutely.
we've met amazing people. We've had amazing times and adventures, and looking forward to many more.
And like she said, the adventure package is not for everybody. It is very expensive. It is not cheap. And it is a huge difference from Elite to Elite Connections to Adventure. The jump is very big. And it's really all about that 90 days and that Trails Collection park to park. So I would say this, you know, if you're not full-time and you're not filthy, stinking rich and it doesn't matter, don't get the Adventure. It doesn't make any sense. If you are full-time But you don't want to be in Florida in the winter or Arizona. Like, you have your own land, maybe you're full-time during the summer, and you want to travel the Northeast or the Northwest, and then in the wintertime you're going to go home. If that's the case, don't get the adventure. It doesn't make sense. But if you have the money, and you're going to spend the winters in Florida and Arizona and South Texas, then it makes perfect sense. Because if you look at Florida, and we can look at a map, we can show you, like, we'll look at a map, and like, if you look at Florida, there are 3,000 trails parks, and then all these trails collection parks. And so being able to just not have to drive huge distances to go to another 1,000 trails park, where everybody else is struggling to get in as well. And some of these parks are huge, and like, talk about connectivity, like 1,000 Trails Orlando. It's a big park, it's near Orlando. You think, oh, it probably has great cell service. Well, okay, technically it does, but when you have all those people in one place, it is completely overpowering the tower, and you're gonna have like no signal. It's gonna be terrible. It's not gonna be good. And for us, that's not okay. I work from the rig full time. We just can't do that. So it's gonna make a huge difference being able to go from trails collection to trails collection for us. So you have to kind of make that decision for yourself. But it's certainly not for everybody, but I think it really was for us. If you guys have any specific questions about anything, please put them in the comments below. We'll try to address each one.
You just gotta learn to roll with the punches. I mean, seriously, this lifestyle is not for everybody.
Definitely not.
But if you can kind of be patient and easygoing about things, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And with that, this is Homeward Bound. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We look forward to building a community. If you have any ideas or questions, or you'd like to hear about a specific topic, please put that stuff below. We'll try to respond to all the comments. We appreciate the support very much, and we look forward to maybe seeing you on the road.
Bye. Sound quality.
Can I have a turn doing one?
Geneva really wants to have a turn doing one, but she doesn't want to sit with Daddy, so I guess I will just test it right now. And like, are you confused yet? Right? So there's a lot going on here.
Okay, good. So they also have,
Geneva, hush, please.
I mean, they've been in it the whole time. That's why I don't think this was a good setup.
Probably not. We may have to redo it. But we'll
Anyway,
see.
Okay. No,
It was like
cancel that.
$100
Cancel that.
or
Yeah,
something.
it was like 150. We're cutting that out. I'm not gonna get into all that.
Why?
Cause. Welcome everyone to Homeward Bound RV. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Greg, and this is Homeward Bound RV.